Hello and welcome to another episode of Fantasy Bros Football, brought to you by the Shell Corporation. With your guest host today, Dan Young, manager of the 2021 champion Thirsty Turtles, and your co-host, manager of the ChargeUp, James Long.
Great effort, but terrible execution. Let me show you how it's done. Hello and welcome to the Fantasy Foot Bros podcast, brought to you by the Shell Corporation, with special guests and owner of the championship-winning Thirsty Turtles, and half the reason the Fantasy Bros even exist, Dan Young. And your California Megamind pretty boy, who, like the real Chargers, never win, owner of ChargeUp, Jim Long. Now, let's get into some fantasy talk.
Hey there, Jimmy. How are you doing today?
I'm having a great time. How about yourself?
Oh, I never had a bad day in my life.
So
we're going to start off today's episode. Wait, maybe we should do one of these. Kind of thing, right? All right.
Well,
we're going to start off today. There you go. We're going to start off today talking about Timmy Triceps, not Timmy Deltoids. Completely different team. Don't be confused. Timmy Triceps is the original. Okay. So try to keep straight on that. Tim had a great year last year, I think. He did pretty good considering if you think about where his drafting was. I don't think he had any drafts in the first 3 or 4 rounds, right? I mean, he was pretty empty for a while.
Yeah, Tim really started with scraps and, to no one's surprise, really, made a lot of moves midseason, kept working it, and, ended up putting together, a pretty good season, remained competitive, maybe was never going to win the big one, but certainly, made a good showing. Not surprised.
Do you think he made a good showing to his detriment? Do you think it hurt him? He had a throwaway season. Ultimately, he really didn't do much with anything. He did make the playoffs. That's great. And the way the COVID shortened season was, I'm sure he made a couple bucks last year. But overall, was it worth winning? Should he have just traded the season away so he could have had some better draft picks this year?
Well, I think he's always, I feel like the last 2 seasons, he's been very close to, pulling the plug and trying to stockpile, draft capital for the next year. And he can't bring himself to do it. He cannot not try. That's his. So yes, he probably should have done that. But he can't help himself. He's an overachiever and, he's scrappy and he had to make moves. He had to stay relevant. And it probably did end up hurting him because he's a little light on the draft picks this year, for sure.
Right. So do you think it's a case of the classic younger brother, middle child syndrome, where you're never able to achieve what your older brother or sibling has done? Nick, being his older sibling, is won 3 times, I believe it was. Got knocked down by yours truly last year. But that being said, do you think he's always just trying to reach those accolades?
No. In fact, I don't think he believes he's actually shares any DNA with you guys. So, I don't really think that's.
I got the muscles to prove he does. Look. Wait.
So, yeah. It's we were inverted.
That's it. Yes.
Yeah. So. No, I just think it's in his personality that he's a hard charger. He's competitive. He can't play football himself anymore. So, really this is, part of what he lives for other than going to the gym every day.
I got you. All right. So we have, Nick has his NAV score, right? We have our NA score, which basically, in my opinion, is, would you keep him? Nah. Would you draft him? Nah. Okay, that's what I'm going with here. Okay, so Chris Godwin. Would you draft him? Nah. Come on, say it with me. Nah. Exactly.
You know, our system's not as scientific, but I think just as accurate.
I would agree. Yes. He has a score of -3 billion. It's just unbelievable how off the charts that one is. So you'd have to keep him as a 3rd-round keeper. I can't see Tim doing that. He's smarter than that. Even though he is shooting up steroids, I don't think it's affected his brain that badly yet.
I agree. You know, and Godwin, let's face it, you know, talented group in Tampa Bay, but too many of them.
Right. Yeah, and to keep him for a 3rd rounder, I just don't think is realistic. You know?
Yeah, there's way too many wide receivers in that category. You know, we're talking 4th, 5th, 6th rounds. You know, even into the 7th, a lot of these, you know, streaky receivers are going to be falling to. So,
right, I agree. Tony Pollard, Wayne Gellman. Nothing.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, yeah, same with McLovin. All a big nah. You know, he has all these middling receivers, you know, just no one that's exciting, you know, that really you can justify. I mean, we only get 2 keepers, so you got to be careful.
I think it's pretty clear who he would keep. He made some big moves all the way up until right before this recording. He's been wheeling and dealing, making himself a better spot here. But he still has the 2 people that I think he will probably wind up keeping if he's going to keep them. He made a great deal with me he took my 1st round, I think with the 9th pick overall. He gave me a 2nd round and Jones from Green Bay, right? So
yeah, he didn't have the pick to keep him, so he had to move him.
Right, and it made sense for me to get him Aaron Jones right there at pick number 9. Without a doubt, it would make sense. I got the 2nd round to keep him, and I kept the 1st rounder. So I thought that was a pretty fair trade overall, and good on his part. You know, he picks up a 1st rounder now that he couldn't have kept anyway. So why not? All right, so on Tim's team, how do you project him? Where do you think he falls, or who do you think he keeps? Let me put it that way.
So he's a huge Antonio Gibson fan, and why wouldn't he be? You know, he's definitely keeping that guy without a doubt. That's his no-brainer. Yeah, I mean, he's you know, he can keep him in the 6th round. Normally, he'd probably go what, 2nd round?
At least, yeah, third, 2nd, or early 3rd rounder at most.
Yeah, so you know that's an easy decision. You know, he had a chance for a little while, didn't he? Have a 1st round pick, and he had, you know, Kyle Murray, but as opposed to you know, sticking with that, keeping that elite pick, he decided again parlay it more into those middle rounds where he's banking on his research, you know, so that he can go ahead and find people with value, give him more players, because you know he didn't want to put all of his eggs in that basket. So, you know, and then you know Brandon Ayuk is the other guy that I see on the list that makes some sense. You know, waiver wire type pickup early in the season. I felt like he was passed around a few times. I think I had him for a hot minute, but definitely now in a much better position. You know, with you know, Garoppolo being healthy, and then of course there's Trey Lance right there. So he's athletic, he's electric. You know, definitely worth considering as a keeper there as an 11th round pick, because normally would probably go, you know, 4th or 5th.
Right. Now, did Tim have a 1st round draft pick at all?
I think did he parlay it? He doesn't have it anymore. No, he moved that so that who's got Murray now? I think he did that. He sent that to Laura this week. It's hard to keep up with all his moves.
I know. I'm telling you, this week has been crazy with the trades, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Yeah. So I think he moved that to football team so that he could get more middle picks.
And it makes a lot of sense. I mean, honestly, he wasn't going to keep Kyler because if you keep him for a 1 year, it's literally a 1 year deal that you're signing him to, right? So you're not going to have him in 2023. Better to trade back and have some value in the future and try to move in. Again, Tim didn't have a lot to probably work with for this year, but I think in 2023, I think he's got a really legitimate shot.
Yeah, I mean, clearly he's trying to make something out of nothing again this year, and so he's going to be full bore. But yeah, it's hard to see him, maybe making the playoffs, but it's hard to see him really, cashing in this year with a championship.
So he's got the third pick in the first round, I believe, right? So that's Timmy. Yeah. So Timmy Triceps, not deltoids again. For those of you who don't know, triceps, I don't know. Anyway, so he's got the third pick. Who do you target there, right? So assuming Mahomes and McCaffrey, right? Thank you.
I think he's Dalvin Cook all day long.
Think so?
Yeah, a stud. Where it's Cook or it's I guess you could. Who else?
I don't know. I mean, there's really we have such a heavy quarterback laden league, and I don't know if any other quarterback other than Mahomes really warrants being picked that high.
Agreed. I think there's definitely another first round quarterback in there, but I think he's basically already saying that he had Murray.
Right.
So if he really wanted to go quarterback, he would have just stayed the course. But I think maybe he's looking at Kamara, who obviously scored a bajillion fantasy points in the championship.
Yeah, I think that's a good roll of the dice, so to speak, because he's going to be the featured back there, right? He's going to be the featured offensive star there. I think this could win Tim some games this year, while not having to commit to anybody he's worried about losing for 2023.
Yeah, it's the only question is, obviously they're going to run that offense through Kamara, but are they just too weak overall, and they're going to have to, are they going to be playing from behind too often? Are they just too much of a sketchy team? That's certainly the only knock on Kamara. I mean, you got to think, oh my God, if they had an elite back, he'd be probably the first pick of the draft.
But he is a back that catches a lot of balls from out of the backfield. So you get that points per reception. So I think that would be a really solid pick for him overall. I mean, obviously we're going to have to wait to see what happens, and that's part of the fun of this whole thing. But I think that's a good, legitimate number 3 pick overall. Would you go Barkley? Would you go Zeke? Would you go any other running back?
No, I don't think so. I mean, Tim values touches, and who's going to get more touches than Kamara?
Agreed.
Yeah. Agreed. So Dalvin Cook is his ADP is higher. He might go. That might be the traditional pick. But maybe he sold me on Kamara there. That he's loves touches, and no one's going to get more than him. So I think maybe you're right, Dan. Yeah, so I think maybe you're right, Dan.
I think that's the way to go. You play safe. You win a couple games. You hold your head up high that you competed this year. But do I see them finishing above third place? No, I don't. I think really he'll beat Rob and the tree and everybody else. But I don't think he'll be able to compete with yet again another season of his older brother.
I mean, he's going to have some great backs, but he's going to have some great running backs, but I don't think he's going to end up really with anyone quarterback wise. He's going to have elite backs though, and with the extra emphasis on quarterbacks with getting the extra points this year, that's going to hurt him.
Right.
So, the quarterbacks are going to go early. He's going to have two great running backs, but I think he's going to miss the boat on the running on the quarterbacks. And, he's going to have Ayuk and, maybe like in the fourth round. I mean, he's going to have, T. Higgins or someone like that at his wide receiver too, and then he's not going to have anything for a tight end. He's going to have a backup tight end probably. He's not going to have any kind of decent defense. So that's where, he's just stuck in a spot.
Yeah, he's got almost 36 picks or so, right? 3, 6, 9. I mean, he's got 30 some odd picks from his first one to his next one. I just don't see how he makes anything happen competitively with that type of scenario.
Yeah, the talent gets drained quick there.
Yeah, without a doubt.
So sorry.
Where do you predict him?
Yeah, we're thinking again. He'll never be at the bottom, but in his division, if he's not last, I think he's looking at third.
He's got a tough division without a doubt. We'll talk about Nick in a couple minutes, and I'm sure they did their review on the world champion Thirsty Turtles. I'm sure they're going to give them all the respect that they deserve, but I just can't see him beating either one of those two teams this year.
Well, he made his way into the elite division. It's the Youngs. It seems to be the Youngs division, but the elite division. So Rob, I think, is there. He's certainly. Rob's. No one's in a worse position than Rob. So, but I just don't see him being able to take out the Walking Dead or Thirsty Turtles.
No, I don't either, and that's not being just. That's being realistic. That's where I see it being for this year anyway. I think 2023, he sets himself up very nicely, and then he goes from there.
Well, I think that's his plan. I mean, I think he's going to keep acquiring people, keep moving people as things go on, and then he's going to keep parlaying that into draft capital for next year. He was going to reset. I think I didn't look at his. I don't think he's traded away any 2022 picks. So he's probably got.
Think so? No.
Yeah, I think he's got a full complement there, and then he's probably going to stockpile a little bit.
And I know he picked up one, I think, for me at least. So he's definitely got that type of, like I said, he's building for 2023. I think that's his year to go. I'm actually surprised that he tried to get the 3, which is good. I would have actually drafted a few more future round picks, maybe a first round next year as opposed to this year. Made that even more attractive for that pick.
Yeah, you're right. If someone's truly playing completely for next year, then the third pick doesn't help you much. Because that's more of a win now thing. Parlay that into a second, a third round pick or something.
Right. Well, anyway, what else you got on Timmy Triceps? Anything?
Really, that's it. He's going to hold his head up high. He's going to work hard. He's going to be in the mix and keep it interesting, even if he's not going to win a championship. He's going to be in the conversation one way or another.
So we're going to wrap it up for Timmy Triceps.
Are your arms jiggly, flabby, and out of shape? Would you like to go from flabby to fabulous? Then you're ready for the Shake Weight, the revolutionary new way to shape and tone arms that is shaking America by storm.
It's right in the back of my arm. Definitely in the tricep area.
And we're going to move into now the Walking Dead. And I think that's a great name for Nick's team. He is so boring with everything the man literally does, okay? So straight-laced, nothing ever changes. All the man does is win, right? I mean, it's so frustrating that a guy that does nothing, has 0 to little added personality outside of his dad jokes. What does he bring, I mean, his mother tonight was laughing her head off at, Tree, better leave him alone. And I'm like, only your mother laughs at that kind of stuff. So anyway.
He's got a sense of humor only a mother can love.
Yes, exactly right. And we've told him that multiple times. That being said, you got to give the man credit where credit is due, okay? He has the best winning percentage tied with Rob, Tree, Darnell. Okay. So you know you're up in the upper echelon of the gods when you're up there with Tree. Okay. But he has won 3 titles in a row. Again, dethroned by the walking turtles, by the Thirsty Turtles. How do you feel about what he did last year? I mean, I was really completely surprised that he competed as long as he did. If Nick was going to have a down year, I think last year was it.
He should have never made it, right? Should have never made it. I think he started out his season like 2-4 or something.
Yeah.
So certainly was not looking good for the Walking Dad. He was running into all kinds of issues, but Nick does what Nick does.
Yep.
He gets the computer going. Gets the data processor right up here, doing its
Excel
thing.
sheets.
Yeah. And, he crunches the numbers and, comes up with, makes a gourmet meal out of, hot dogs and cheese and eggs, and somehow you get a gourmet meal out of it.
That is exactly his appetite. That is so good for you to say. Like, if you were to take him out someplace and be like, Nick, order whatever you want. He'll be like, I'll take the grilled cheese and the quesadilla. No meat, just quesadilla. That's all. Okay. So yeah, I mean, the guy clearly knows what he's doing. Okay.
He's a savant.
At the expense of his professional career. Is that what we're saying?
Well, I had a question for you, Dan. I'm sure, you're probably embarrassed, ashamed, as far as his performance goes in the insurance industry, and what your hopes were for him. But, is that offset by your pride of his prowess in fantasy football?
It is such a catch-22 kind of situation, right? Because on this hand, I'm really proud of him for really doing well in fantasy football. Okay. But on this hand, I would really like to see my grandchildren have a house over their heads all the time. So what do you do? What do you do? Kind of thing, I'm hoping that maybe he can find a happy medium where he wins a couple bucks in fantasy football, allows me to win. Where, look, my kid Jake is going to have a roof over his house forever, not a problem. The trophy deserves to be here at the Thirsty Turtle where its namesake is. So, yeah, I really feel kind of torn on that kind of thing. I'm proud of him, but yet so disappointed.
Well, I think, he spent so little time at the insurance business that, in addition to fantasy football, though, he probably has his investing, data processing going on. And, he's probably going to ride Ethereum or Bitcoin, into millions. He's going to come
Bitcoin,
out just
who
fine.
saw that coming, right? I mean, Bitcoin, nobody was talking about it. Nobody heard anything about it, kind of thing. And then all of a sudden, boom, Nick's a 0.0003% Bitcoin owner. So, I mean, got to give it to him for that, without a doubt.
Yeah, don't worry. I don't think he's going to have to move back in.
No, I think we're okay there. Question though for you on the Bitcoin thing: do you think Brian Cannon will be buying any Bitcoin anytime soon since Nick bought some?
Well, he does love to emulate Nick. Nick is his idol.
Is he? I didn't know what that whole deal was, but possibly. It's very good. Yeah. So the only thing Brian Cannon hasn't done is won a Super Bowl fan ball trophy whatsoever. So.
But yeah, so it's somehow, the Nick is, he was coming after you last year. The writing was on the wall. You had stockpiled, all the Kansas City Chiefs, and you were riding that. And then Kamara also helped you out. And then, when maybe Tyreek Hill had a bad day, the Kamara, lit it up for you. And he did everything he could. I mean, he never stopped.
Well, it didn't hurt that ruthless. I had Adam in my back pocket, really rooting against Nick and wanting to trade me his entire team for a empty can of beer. So, I mean, that really worked out well for me. It was shrewd, but,
And more than a little irritated Nick, let's face it. So, here, he's going up against a guy that's getting fed all these elite players for not a lot of payment. And, that's what he was going up against. And he started out with, maybe only a slightly average or above average team, and he had to make something out of it. So I think he made some uncharacteristic moves, and finds himself without a first round pick this
year. Right. Yeah, without a doubt, it was a weird year for Nick. I mean, he did everything he could do. Actually, he does have a first round. Oh, no, he doesn't. I apologize. My screen was up to it. So he's got 2 second round picks, which is almost the equivalent of a first round pick.
Yeah, it's two high second round picks.
Right.
And I think part of that is because, he did trade himself into recently a first round pick that he then traded again away.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, he found himself very light early in the draft. Again, he's made a little something out of it. So he at least does have, 2 2s, a 3 and a 4. He's missing a 5th, 7th, and 8th. So he's a little lighter than I think he normally would like to be, but he's banking on, his, Navalytics and, hoping that he can really come up with someone that's no one else has thought of in the 10th and 11th rounds and 12th, where he's got, 47 picks.
Right.
So, well, I got to tell you, I wore this jersey not only because I'm a huge Chargers fan, but in our discussion about The Walking Dead, let's be honest. What's going to save his ass this year is this guy, Justin Herbert, right? Am I right?
Oh, is that how you pronounce that? Herbert?
Yeah, just straight up Herbert.
I thought the H was silent. I thought it was like a bear.
Nah, he's like, no, he's just a regular American homeboy.
I thought he was a French guy. I had no idea.
No, he's no fancy pants.
Do you eat some peanut butter or something?
Yeah, you sound like a dog with peanut butter on the roof of your mouth.
I think what you are hearing is my accent. I am French.
You say you're French?
Oui.
We? No, we are not French. We're American, because you're in America, okay?
This guy's just a gunslinger, man.
A gunslinger, I like him.
Yeah.
Well, I've done a lot of research, as you can see here by my sheets. Maybe you can see. There you go. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So let me just take a look here. I really think he should keep the one subject spiral notebook, the folder, and the the pencil. Oh wait, I'm sorry. That's Jake's school supply list. I apologize. Now I have my list of stuff that's to go there. So really, I think
I'm not sure why I laughed at that, but anyway, go ahead.
It was a Nick joke. That's what you laugh at those kind of things.
I laughed that you actually went through with that joke.
Well, to be fair, I did run it by Antoinette first of all, and she laughed. She chuckled. She was like, that's nice. That's nice, honey. Yes, go ahead. Go have fun with your friends. Anyway, so his team overall. I mean, he's got a couple of nads without a doubt. Brandon Cooks. Nah.
I mean, good receiver, but another, a lot of middling receivers out there.
Josh Jacobs as the first round, even if he could keep him. Nah.
No, and he loves Josh Jacobs too, but
yeah, I know. This is where Tim's going to insert his little bit of I need a little CJ Booberbear on my team. That roster thing. So,
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he has any real question about who he would keep. He's got his NAV scores pretty high on a couple players. Herbert, I think, is without a doubt a keep at 11th rounder. That might be the highest NAV score that I've seen.
Yeah, I think, it was right there at the top. I think it is currently the top. Nick told me that it is the number 1 NAV score in the league. Another player could have been higher.
Hey, hold on, whoa. You're telling me a member of The Walking Dead has the highest NAV score, which stands for Nick's arbitrary values, in the entire league?
Well, yeah, of course. Did you expect any less?
Right? No favoritism, no anything like that.
No, it's a number and a system that he created. And naturally,
the top guy.
Works in his favor. Yeah. But let's face it, no matter what score or number you want to assign to Justin Herbert, it's the gift of the fantasy century. I mean, he picks up Justin Herbert on a waiver wire. Just being in the right place at the right time. He finds a needle in a haystack after Tyrod Taylor gets stabbed in the lung by his own doctor, and boom, and now all of a
Good
sudden
manager sees that kind of stuff coming though. Oh wait,
and then
my quarterback's got an appointment with the team doctor. I better drop him and pick up his back.
well, and that he happened to have first dibs on the waiver wire when that happened. Right? No accident, I'm sure. But now he's got basically what is potentially is a keeper for the next 5 years.
Right. I agree.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, but that again is and I know we joke about it, but that is an attribute to the way he approaches his fantasy football team. The man is without. I'm talking to you. Stop talking to whoever that is to your right. All right. This is important stuff going on.
Well, you've got the dog interrupting you. I've got kids.
Ah, okay. Well, your kids are
Nick and Tim did this at the office for a reason, I think.
Although they did have an interruption this past week with somebody yelling outside or something. I don't know what that was.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. They never explained what that was. Anyway, so yeah, it is a compliment to the way Nick handles his team. He's always on the waiver wire. He has ran 34, mock drafts in the past 3 days just to see who somebody might pick or whatever. Second keeper, does he keep Jonathan Taylor or does he keep, I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean really, that's where I would think he would go.
Yeah, there's really no other option there, in my opinion. Jonathan Taylor, who does he get to keep him
in the third round? Oh, wait, does he have a?
Yeah, I mean, he's normally a first-round pick. I mean, he's the lead back in Indianapolis, right? So,
right. Oh, so he does. Yeah. Nick does have a third-round pick. I just wanted to double-check that. So.
Okay. Yeah, so he's getting good value there. I mean, certainly he's going to be way off the board, as a lead back in Indy. I mean, there's Marlon Mack there, but let's face it, they're gonna feed Taylor all day long. He's probably normally going in late first round, early second at the latest, and he can keep them at the last, virtually, the 10th pick in the third round. So,
right.
Definitely not a nah.
So, do you target with his second round picks? He's got two of them almost back to back, divided by you. All right, so not to give away your strategy, but who does Nick target in that second round with his first two picks?
Well, so he's
quarterback,
got
Russell Wilson.
Yeah, so if Russell Wilson falls that far, I think with the emphasis on quarterbacks this year higher than ever, because each team can only have up to 3. We still have him as a super flex play. Right. And and the increased point value on the touchdowns. We're gonna.
I'm sorry.
It's a huge mistake, but I don't know. I think a lot of the elite quarterbacks are going to be gone. I think they're going to go earlier than you think, but that's also going to push probably another good running back to him. Certainly, a top-notch wide receiver. But yeah, quarterback wise, who do you think's going to be there? Early second round.
I mean, do you think you get Rodgers there? I think Rodgers is a possibility to fall to there.
Potentially, yeah.
Dak. Where do you take Dak? What do you expect from him this year? Not a Cowboys fan. I wouldn't take him if he didn't go draft the entire year. Okay, that's just me personally. I know Adam's like just salivating over, oh my God, Dak's back. But legitimately, do you take him in the second round?
I definitely don't think Dak makes it to the second round. I think Russell Wilson may. I think Rodgers may. Because I mean, Mahomes is a lock for first round. I think Dak is probably late in the first round, and then Kyler Murray, is a keeper in the first round. So certainly I think either Rodgers or Dak may fall to the second round, second pick in the second round, and then he can back that right up with another decent running back like a Joe Mixon, who's going to get a lot of carries. I don't think maybe Saquon. I don't know. Does Saquon fall to the second?
That far depends on the keepers, I guess. If anybody's keeping any first rounders, but I doubt he gets that far. Yeah, that's a tough
certainly.
one. I
Najee
definitely
Harris will be
value
there.
a out of the backfield running back receiver kind of thing, like a Kamara over a wide receiver, but there's only so many of them out there, Yeah, you were saying you don't know if Dak will fall that low.
I to the second round, I don't think so. I think he goes in the first. I think
What makes you
Russell
think
Wilson
that coming off that injury that he has?
Well, because of the hype.
Yeah.
They Dak and Zeke were just on fire. The first 5-6 games or whatever it was until
he's got CD Lamb there, right? Yeah.
Right. So people are hoping that comes back. And Dak, I think he's going to miss the first week of the season, but even still, everyone's just so excited to see what that possibility is because he's mobile. He throws it around a lot. He's got weapons. So, I think with the premium that's going to be coming on the quarterbacks, I think he's going to go, a little bit before the second round. But yeah, I think you're right. I think Russell Wilson's there. I think Rodgers is there. So he'll have his pick of those two. And then he's going to have some decisions to make on the running backs.
You take a risk on a rookie quarterback that early.
Like a Najee Harris?
No, the Trevor Lawrence or the other kid out of Jacksonville. Yeah, Lance.
Well, Trey Lance in San Francisco or Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville.
Right.
No, I don't. I think they go to. Well, first of all, Trey Lance doesn't have a job.
He will.
He will, but
I think he's a great spot for somebody who doesn't want to compete this year, so to speak, and pick him with a higher draft pick to maybe keep him, for a third next year or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's no room to hide a fourth, quarterback on your bench this year.
Right.
So it's tough to spend a high pick on that kind of future. Is he going to be, once he has the starting job, are people going to want him? Sure. But can you afford to wait it out?
Right.
So I think Trevor Lawrence is going to go before Trey Lance. But I still think he's going to fall to, the third round or something because, he just doesn't have the weapons.
Right. And Najee, where do you think he falls?
Well, because it looks like he's going to be the guy at Pittsburgh, and traditionally Pittsburgh is always going to be heavy to the run. And, there's really no one of significance behind him. He's going to get the touches and touches, means fantasy points. So it's possible. I don't see Nick doing that. I don't see Nick going there.
I can see Nick possibly reaching. Without a doubt, if he's there in the third round pick, Nick takes him there. Okay. So Najee hasn't been taken by round 3, pick 10. Nick's got him. Pencil it in now, I guarantee you. But yeah, I'm just not sure where Nick plays this year. And again, he's always such an enigma about what he's going to do. But it's going to be interesting without a doubt.
Yeah, I think if Nick Chubb falls that far, he'll definitely grab him. He had Chubb last year for a while and did well. So I think he would definitely pick him up in a minute. But, there's going to be a couple of elite wide receivers. So I think he's going to, have his pick of, either Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers. And then I think he'll go next because of the question marks around those running backs. I think he may then go to an elite receiver like Hopkins, Ridley.
I think that's a smart play. Without a doubt. All right. Where do you pick Nick to rank? Now that I know I'm putting you on the pressure here because obviously I'm in the league also, and I am the repeating champion right now.
The reigning champion.
Reigning champion. Thank you. I will be repeating. So when we do this in 2022, I'll be saying repeating champion. So reigning champion. Who do you pick to win the toughest division in the league?
Oof. Well, I really like, I'm sorry to say this, I like, here, let me see what I'm at. Let me look at his competition. We already said where Timmy Triceps will be. He'll be third.
We know where Tree is going to be.
We know where Tree is going to be. He doesn't draft until the 12th round, I don't think.
He does have 3 picks in the 12th round, I think.
Oh, does he? All right.
Does that change your opinion at all?
No. But so his competition is you at this point, and you've got Jones and Allen locked up in the second round. You've got and again, I don't want to talk about your team. Your episode's already been put in the can and as such, but I think he's got a lot of picks. While they might be later, he's going to know what to do with them, and of course he's going to ride my boy Herbert to 38 touchdowns. So I don't know. It's going to come down to injuries, but I certainly think it's going to be you and him, to win that division.
I'm okay with, honestly, I think Nick, whoever's going to make the most of their middle round picks, it's always going to be Nick. Okay. Again, Tim is going to be a close second on that, but I think Nick really does the better job of that overall.
Well, here's another thing. Most of his picks are 10th round or later.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So, but if he's coming out of the gate losing a bunch of games and he's going to be top on the waiver wire, he's going to get lucky there again because again he's running the league. So of course, I there's something untoward going on for sure. He'll finagle something, in the behind the scenes in the sleeper app and somehow find himself with another,
Yeah, he wins by 100 points and still winds up with the number 1 waiver pick. I don't get it, but
I think you're certainly the Thirsty Turtles is the team to beat. I think it's going to be the Walking Dead close second. As long as the injury bug doesn't hit the Thirsty Turtles.
Right. I get you. I hear you, and I agree with you. So
watch your 6, Dan. Watch your 6.
I'm going to give you a chance to defend yourself. They, Nick and Tim both felt like you kind of gave up on the season a little early last year.
Oh.
What was your thinking last year? And going into this year, do you feel you have a legitimate shot at the whole shebang?
Well, allow me to retort.
Please do.
I absolutely sold out for this year. I was very frustrated. I was in this middle first round pick where, I wasn't going to get the cream of the crop, and I picked Clyde Edward-Helaire. And of course, Le'Veon Bell joins the team and eats into his carries, and, CEH ends up being a nothing burger to me. Then Eckler, who I also had, right around the same time got injured. So my 2 top backs were toast. And really, I just had no chance, at that point. So it was time to take, Russell Wilson, who was phenomenal, and turn that into something while I still could. And I'm glad I did because, after I traded him, he became average.
Right.
Did I give up early? I don't know. Did I give up at the right time?
I mean, for this year, last year's done. I felt last year if there was ever going to be a time to not give up, it was last year during the COVID season, right? Because you were doing a cash prize every week. I thought it was one of the best years. If you were going to have a down year, you could still make a couple bucks during that year without even winning the whole thing.
Oh no! And I still had some wins.
By the way, I won the whole thing. Just to point that out. So I did win a lot of money there.
Yeah, we didn't forget. I think I did. I got half my money back. I had some wins. I think even before, right when the season started, I lost Marlon Mack, who was my third back. So, all of a sudden I found myself without any running backs. So I don't know. I felt like my season was doomed. It was cursed. I felt like, I was cursed, playing fantasy football in general after the Le'Veon Bell episode, the year before.
That was 2 years in a row. He kind of burned you, didn't he?
Well, David Johnson burned me the year before. He ended up, he was another number 1 running back that became a backup. Remember,
Right.
they benched him in Arizona, and then I think the year before that, Le'Veon Bell decided to hold out for the whole year.
That's what it was. Yes, the year before.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know
So,
it's
but this
something
year,
like
that's not going to happen to me. Derrick Henry's going to be a stud. Eckler's going to be a stud. And I'm not going to get burned by running backs.
All right. Well, here's wishing to you that you do a good job, except can't beat the Thirsty Turtles. Any other final words of wisdom that you'd like to part with on any of these guys?
Well, I want to, first of all, thank Tim and Nick for doing such a great job running the league. Albeit,
By the way, did you see how many subscribers they have already?
I think like 5 or 6, maybe.
They're literally up to like 6 subscribers right now. So
that's almost half of our league is watching these episodes.
Almost half our league subscribers are watching these things.
I'm glad we're spending our time away from our families to do this for no one.
Right. It's all about that, you know.
I'm having a great time. Thank you for allowing us to to guest host today, talk about you guys behind your back. Of course, you're going to end up seeing this anyway, of course. And Tim's still has editing power on this, so don't do anything that will ruin our careers or our standing in the community. Try not to dub in anything terrible and then post it on TikTok.
Exactly.
I hope I just didn't give him some ideas.
I wouldn't know how to do anything on TikTok, so it's okay if it's put there. I'm okay with it. All right.
And I personally enjoyed the series. I'm one of the 6 subscribers, and I've watched every minute of them.
Well, I look forward to them. I really do. I really look forward to them. I listen to them to where I get half my trade ideas.
I'm pretty sure you and me are the only ones. Yeah.
Well,
and that's why we're here. We're the only ones who wanted to do this.
Exactly.
We wanted to see ourselves on YouTube.
Exactly. I always wanted to be on YouTube, but I didn't know how to get on there.
Well, tomorrow you'll be there.
All right, man. Great working with you. Here's the end credit scene. Here's my print. Anyway, good talking to you, brother.
All right, have a good night.
All right, see ya.